Call our February 18th meeting to order, and as we start every meeting with a pledge and invocation, Commissioner John Irwin will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Our Father, we thank Thee, Lord, for this day. We thank Thee for this gathering of people that's come out, Lord. We just give You all the praise and all the glory for everything. Watch over us and guide us today, Lord, as we conduct the business of this county to the betterment of the people and the citizens of this county. We give Thee thanks. Watch over us and guide us, Lord, for these blessings we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
We've got one modification to the agenda, and that is the January tax refunds.
It's all done.
So we'll add that as item number, I think it's 14.
Yes. Motion to approve the agenda with the addition.
Thank you, John.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, the approval of the minutes from the January 22nd meeting.
We're going to include the retreat minutes.
To include the retreat as well.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, John. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, 4-0. All right, we have with us today a Chamber Spotlight Business recognition of one of my favorite eating places,
And
the
mine.
Crave. And John and I are complaining about our waistlines being impacted. So, Katie, welcome.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for having us today. A couple announcements. We have a ribbon cutting this afternoon. There's an open house from 4 to 6 at our new tag office. The ribbon cutting's at 5. We invite all of you to join us and help with celebrate this new wonderful service that we're providing for our county. We also have business after hours, Chamber Business After Hours at Laconia Ale Works this Thursday from 5 to 7. We hope you join us and come and meet and network and get to know one of our newest members and newest businesses this year. I'd like to introduce to you our intern, Caleb Osbourne. He's a senior at Alleghany High School. He's attending App State in the fall, and he's spending the rest of his senior year as an intern for us a couple hours a day. And this is his first business spotlight, and we're going to do it together. And he's a little nervous. So come on up. Caleb is going to introduce Crave, our business spotlight.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm
Morning.
Caleb, like she said. This is my first time, so please go easy on me. I'm here.
If you would, move the
Microphone.
mic a little bit more to your direction, please.
So I'm here to introduce Crave. Crave is owned by Jeff and Jenny, and they're here with us today. Jenny is actually an Alleghany County native and graduate of Alleghany High School. Jeff moved here 10 years ago, and they have owned Crave since November 20th of 2017. They hire 5 employees from the county, and they bring good Italian food, community, and family-friendly atmosphere to the county. And they strive to provide every person within Alleghany a relaxed atmosphere to eat and enjoy a fusion of Italian and American food. When asked what it means to be a chamber member, they said that it means keeping in touch with the community and that is a great help for advertising and promoting their business within the county. Crave is just going out of town, right there in front of the car wash if anyone wants to drop by and say hi to them. They're open 11 to 9 Tuesday through Thursday, 11 to 10 on Friday, and 4 to 10 on Saturday. And I believe that they want to say a couple words about their special, so if they come up here.
I'm honored to be here today. Thank you very much for having us. My name is Jeffrey Anderson. Today is actually celebrates my 10 years in Alleghany County. I moved here exactly 10 years ago today, and I couldn't be prouder to be a member of this community. And a lot of great things have happened to me in 10 years. I met my lovely wife. We've had some success in business and obviously some failures, but I couldn't imagine being in a better community. Everybody that we've talked to and has had great support for us, and we appreciate, everybody continuing to support us, as well as other members of the community. We try to do, everything. We try to execute everything 100%. Obviously, we're human, so nobody's going to hit 100% all the time. We've got a lot of stuff coming down the pipe for spring that we're looking forward to. Once we get into summer, we're hoping to have a really successful year. Hopefully there's no additional road construction, as that has been a thorn in our side. But we understand the progress that this county is making, and we look forward to the end results. And I think that the future is bright for not only us, but for everybody involved, economically in this county. And I couldn't be happier to be a member of this community. Take note, we do have some great stuff that goes on weekly. Every Friday night we have a steak night. You can get a 14-ounce ribeye with baked potato and salad for $18. The first Saturday of every month, we are going to focus on some crab legs, bring a little taste of the coast here. I think that the first one was overwhelming. We sold out of all of our product within 2.5 hours, which I was floored and couldn't have envisioned a better start. So looking forward to that March date of coming up. That's the first Saturday of every month. At the end of the month, we're going to start a bounce back coupon on our receipt. Once you guys dine with us, you'll have a specific period of time to return for a certain portion off your bill. Just a way to generate some quick returns and repeat business. And looking forward to seeing everybody. And thank you for your support. Would you like to say anything? My wife's a little shy. Thank you, guys.
I've never known her to be shy.
I know, right?
It's amazing.
Shannon, would you like to say anything? I would like to take a moment to talk about Shannon Cochran, who is our general manager, and to thank her for all of her tireless hours that she puts in, and the support that she gives us is absolutely second to none. So I want to say that I appreciate her job and couldn't do it without you. So, absolute. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff, Jenny, and Shannon. Y'all bring a bright light to Alleghany County. We're very thankful for your love for our community and for all you do. Any questions? Thank you for your time today, and Caleb did an amazing job.
We did have a social media campaign through Authentically Alleghany for folks to vote for their favorite restaurant, and Crave was the winner of that, as it turned out. So congratulations to them. And related note, of course, our Dine Out Challenge is still going on, and that would be go have lunch at Crave. That'll get you 10% of the way there to your prize. So I just want to remind everybody about that.
Good. Okay, at this time, we'll open the floor for public agenda comments. Anyone wishing to address the commissioners that's on the agenda items? Seeing no movement, we'll close that. Presentation of the board, Ms. Evans.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
And I'm here as a follow-up to, I was here like a month ago today talking about the TDA occupancy tax request that we had from one of our local residents who actually operates a bed and breakfast type scenario, that he has rentals in on his property there. What I had came before you was he has requested, he had overpaid on his occupancy tax to the county because he goes through the Airbnb people to use for his advertising. And just to remind everybody, y'all had asked that I go back, talk with him to get more information from him. And so what he did, he actually came into my office and he logged in on his personal Airbnb account, and we sat right there at my desk, and I manually did the math myself for him showing me what was in his account. And I did see exactly what he was talking about. where he has paid the occupancy tax to us, when Airbnb has also paid the occupancy tax to us. So part of my request today is to ask the board to consider to refund him $446, and this goes all the way back to January of 2016. And once he was aware that Airbnb pays it, he stopped paying it. So that stopped in July of 2018. So that's the time period that this covers. So I'd like to ask the board to consider that. And then also, he had a short-term rental agreement on a property that he has, and occupancy tax follows sales tax. So with sales tax, if you rent your property to the same person for 90 days or more, you're not subject to have to pay sales tax on that rental. So at the same time, occupancy tax will follow that as well. I do have a copy of his short-term rental agreement that shows for the entire 90 days. I do have his occupancy tax forms that he submitted back. The dates was June 16 for 90 days. We do have the occupancy tax forms that he submitted at that time, showing that he paid us those 90 days of occupancy tax as well. That request is going to be $399 back to the same individual. So that's my two requests today before the board. Is there any questions?
Any questions of Karen? Do I have a motion to approve?
I will make that motion that we approve both requests.
Bobby, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
4-0. Thank you, Karen.
If
Thank
you,
you.
if you would, please convey our thanks for his cooperation in determining that
Sure
this
will.
was a valid refund, but he can take solace in noting that we're watching the pennies.
And he did tell me when he came into the office that he appreciated, the due diligence that the board was doing before just up and refunding the money. So, thank you all.
Thank you. April?
Morning.
Good morning.
I have a few personnel policy proposed changes. The first one is actually under the organization of the personnel policy. Under Section 2C, this is just clarifying what social services and other folks that's under the State Personnel Act, where they would fall under our personnel policy. I actually have an additional change to this because Lisa Osbourne just finished up reviewing some of this at the end of the week last week, and we had a conversation on Friday. I would also like to change it to Article 7, taking out the Section 5. They are subject to all of Article 7, along with Article 3 that I have highlighted there. Okay, if you go on down in that section, number 4 under C, we did have just emergency medical services in this. I'm adding law enforcement and transfer facility. And the sections 3 through 33. Section 33 was actually something that came to the board not too long ago about snow time. And 2 of these departments don't have comp time to add that snow time to, so we're actually adding it to their annual leave. Before, it only said sections 3 through 27, something like that. So that additional administrative leave that can be approved by the county manager wasn't actually referenced in that section. Okay. Any questions on that part of the policy yet?
Apparently not.
Okay. The next section is outside employment with the county. There has always been a statement in our personnel policy about county employment takes priority. There's always been a statement about conflict of interest with that also. We would like to add this statement: all outside employment requires written approval by the department head and the county manager. Failure to obtain prior approval is a violation of the policy. The approval will be retained in the employee's permanent personnel file. If approved, outside work shall not interfere with the employee's regular work schedule and performance, nor will such work be done on county time. If attendance or work performance is determined to be compromised by outside employment, approval for outside employment may be withdrawn. Time requested off for any outside employment will be limited to 10 working days in 1 month, consecutive or non-consecutive, and 20 total days for a calendar year. Does anyone have any questions about that portion?
Now, how's that going to affect some of your people that maybe sells trees or pumpkins that takes off for a couple of weeks, and they've earned that time?
They have earned the time, but we've had a couple of situations in the past year, and I've had 2 department heads come to me about problems with this. There needs to be some type of limit to it. You know, if there's big construction projects going on, like just happened with the tag office, the county took on that, and they needed to get remodeling done, and Josh doesn't have the staff to do that, there's a problem there.
All our departments are so small, you know, we just can't have 1/3 or 1/4 of the department gone for 6 weeks at a time. You know, it's just really difficult.
I can understand that.
More questions about that section or comments? Okay. The next one was actually and it will subject them to a disciplinary action if these procedures aren't followed. The next section was actually a request from the finance officer and the assistant finance officer. All reimbursement receipts will be turned in the finance office no later than 30 days after the date of travel or meal to be reimbursed. Any receipts not turned in by the deadline of 30 days will not be reimbursed by the county under any circumstances. There has been several circumstances in the past year when we've had people resign and they go through their desk and there's receipts there from 7 and 8 months prior and they want to be reimbursed. That's one of the reasons this has come up.
Don't you think you need to clarify calendar days as opposed to work days?
Yes, we can do that. Yeah, it probably needs to be calendar days, and I can ask to make sure, yes, she wants it calendar days.
All right, John.
Yep,
Any other comments?
we will add calendar to that.
Okay.
The next section with changes is about social media. We have a statement in there talking about social media. We'd like to add something just a little bit more specific. Personal posts to any social media platform or the internet should not be done during working hours other than county-based accounts for public informational purposes only. Sorry, having trouble getting that out. Any personal posts during work hours may subject the employee to disciplinary actions up to and including dismissal. There are several departments that have social media accounts. We're not talking about, the public information things. Drew handles putting applications on the county's social media accounts for me. That's county-based stuff. We're talking more personal things. That's taking time away in departments. Someone being on their cell phone, someone being on the internet, on their computer, and not really supposed to be. We have had a couple department heads complain about this. This is the reason this one has come up.
Good policy. Any other comments?
I believe that we need to add a statement, something to the effect that abuse of this policy could result in disciplinary action up to and including dismissal.
We do, I can make it a little stronger if you want me to, but right there at the end, any personal post during work hours may subject the employee to disciplinary actions up to and
I'm
including.
worried about work hours. What I am worried about in their own time, if they make disparaging remarks or something libelous. Granted, we have First Amendment rights, but there are limits.
Very good.
You know, that's hard to define, but
It is, and we do have a little bit of that in confidentiality, our statements about that, and even in the disciplinary action,
you feel that it's adequately covered in
I
other
think it's
sections.
adequate right
Okay.
now, John, yes.
What about if they're on their lunch break or something like that, and they post something or use the computer for others?
If someone were to come and question us, we can pull their timesheet and make sure they're on their lunch break.
So that they do have a free time in there?
Yes, yes.
We're talking about using county internet access, county equipment.
Yes, that's
Then
part of this.
I don't care if they're on their own time for lunch or what. They're using a county equipment to do this.
Correct.
And we are liable.
Yes. Yep. And most people have smartphones now. If they're going to look up something, if I need to look up a schedule for my daughter's, fall break or something, I can do that on my smartphone. I don't have to do that on the county computer.
I've run into this before, and it wasn't social media, it was porn sites.
And that's something we need to just go ahead and put it out there. This is not,
Yeah.
this is not allowed. Yeah.
Are you okay with that? Okay. Thank you,
Okay.
Jane. All
I
right.
apologize, April. I talked to two department heads late Friday, and I haven't had a chance to talk to you about this. But they had a department page, and they would post, let's say office is closing early for snow today, and then they would post the same thing on their personal Facebook to get better coverage. So we could add a half a sentence that, some kind of, that a reciprocal, post of business on your personal page, something like that would be allowed.
Okay.
I think something like that. We'll figure out the wording there.
And that would still be considered county business, so,
Yeah, but this specifically says county department-based accounts, so it just needs to, so we just need to allow, immediate reciprocal posts of county information on your personal site would be allowed. That does help us get the word out faster, most people have more followers on their personal page than on their county department page, simply because they've been around longer. Most of the county department pages haven't been around very long, so.
and I will add that wording and, okay. The next highlighted section is just under annual leave, and it goes back to where we were talking about if an employee does have outside employment, that they can use annual leave for that. Sick leave would not be allowed to use for that, so it'll just be that earned annual leave or vacation time.
Is that affecting all sections of this? I mean, like your 30-year employees?
Yes, it would.
Is that dropping them back or anything on their days off?
It dropped them
They get
down.
the same as they've been getting,
Yeah.
Yes,
The number of
yeah.
days you get is the same.
same deal.
Yeah, we're not changing any type of accruals or anything. I've just put a statement in there that, yes, if they have outside employment, this is the type of leave that you can use. Sick leave would not be allowed. An employee could use their comp time, but comp time can be used for anything.
Carries over from one year to the next, or is that in a
Annual
calendar?
leave, yes. Annual and sick leave both carry over, yes.
Is there a maximum accrual?
Yes, 240 for annual leave. If an employee gets to the end of the year and has 250, part of my process at the end of the year is to cap that at 240, and that 10 extra rolls over into their sick leave, which ultimately helps their retirement. Okay? Under employee benefits, we're getting ready to get into a situation with our health insurance, a penalty for employees not completing wellness screenings or whatever is determined to be a wellness screening or wellness completion. Any penalties for noncompliance or non-completion of wellness/screening requirements created by Alleghany County or the county's health insurance provider will be payroll deducted from the employee's check per the deduction schedule. When we were with MedCost, we were getting ready to get to this point with a 10% penalty. We actually changed to the in-chip insurance, and the penalty would have started that July 1, so we didn't get to this point with that. But we do need something in our personnel policy saying that we are going to payroll deduct those penalties if they're necessary for the employees.
Penalty would be for all employees in the county if one.
It would be for all full-time employees that are on the county's health insurance. Yes, sir.
They're necessary.
Yeah, they do not complete the necessary requirements. Any questions about any of the proposed changes? Okay.
Need a motion to approve those changes?
Sir.
But we have changes that we are going to be making, correct?
We do have changes we're going to be making, the calendar days and the immediate post to personal social media. So do you want me to make those changes, then bring back to the board?
That'd be the right thing to do.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
I will
A
do that.
motion that we table until do you feel that you could have those changes ready for the first meeting in March?
Sir, yeah.
I make a motion that we table until the first meeting in March.
A second?
Second that motion.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
4-0. All right, thank you, April.
Thank you very much.
Question, Manager. General business, I see nothing under that. What's the intent there? The agenda item.
Those would be things like if we are accepting a bid for construction or something like that, things like that typically go under there.
Have none?
We don't have any
Okay,
yet.
all right,
Well, I think it's but probably 2 meetings in a row we haven't had any, so.
okay.
That may be a good thing.
We're just doing specific business, I
That's
guess,
okay.
instead of general business, so.
Well, we're not spending money. A consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve, or is it an item you want to discuss?
I have no questions, Mr. Chairman, and we'll make the motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve, do we have a second?
I got the PEP policy, are we talking about it?
We're going to hold that till next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it wasn't quite ready, as it turned out.
All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? 4-0. All right, we're now down to public comments. Anyone wishing to address the board as far as any item, please do so at this time. Being no action, I make a motion to close that. Ready for county manager's comments.
First of all, we have the building permit report for January, because that's typically a fairly slow month, but we still had, you see, 20 mechanical permits. Of course, I guess if that was the first cold weather, people realized they needed to upgrade their heat pump or whatever like that, so still a pretty good month there. And you see 41 permits issued in the month of January, which is pretty good for January, so. Have talk about outreach from the Veteran Service Officer. Kenneth does have 2 or 3 outreach opportunities scheduled over the next couple of months, so we'll get those posted out on all the necessary places, so make sure everybody's aware of that. Just want to encourage everyone to make an appointment with Kenneth if you are a veteran and review your benefits. You know, if you were in the military for any length of time, I know both Commissioners Irwin can tell you the military, particularly 30, 40 years ago, is tough, physically demanding work. And if you were in the military 10 or 15 or 20 years, you probably have some physical ailment and can get some level of disability rating. Just about anybody that retires from the military can get some kind of disability rating. And we want to help you with that if you have benefits coming your way. I know the one Kenneth's gotten a lot recently has been the aid and attendance. So if you are the spouse of a veteran that is now, quite ill and cannot care for himself or herself completely, the spouse can receive some income there to help with those expenses. So I just want to encourage everyone to, everyone that's a veteran, spouse of a veteran, dependent of a veteran, to get with Kenneth, schedule an appointment, and let's review those benefits and see if we can get more income coming your way. Third item we have here, the financials, quarterly financials from Via Health, which is our regional mental health service provider. So they have it broken down by county. Encourage citizens to review that. You know, I know several years ago there were some problems with the organization that used to do the mental health in this region and wound up in court, and you know, Donna named her yacht after that company, and all the money that she made in court from that. But at least Via has been very, very forthcoming with their financial information, and we certainly appreciate that. They've been good to work with. So feel free to take a look at those. And mentioned to a couple of you before the meeting today, we had a major breakdown at the jail over the weekend. The water heating system has, I believe it's damaged to the point it cannot be repaired and is going to have to be replaced, and that's going to be approximately a $15,000 purchase that we're going to have to make. So we'll put that as a budget amendment on the next meeting. Josh and Brian can install it, but we have no hot water in the jail right now, and we're not going to be able to get away with that for a day or two until we'll get written up from the state. So unfortunately, that's something that's going to have to be replaced that we did not anticipate. So unless there's any gigantic objection, we will proceed with that purchase and have a budget amendment on the next meeting. So.
Expect any objection?
No, I mean, we really don't have any choice, you know. It's, they have very, I know most citizens, that's at the bottom of the list on things they want to spend tax money on are improvements at the jail. But, you know, that they're all, those are members of our community too, and we have to have a reasonable place for them to stay. The state has very strict requirements. You know, when you turn on the faucet, the water can't be below a certain temperature, and it can't be above a certain temperature either, and there's a lot of specifics on that, light bulbs and all these kind of things. We have to adhere to all of that, so it's a necessary expense, unfortunately. We had a budget amendment a few meetings ago with our increased jail enrollment, if you want to call it that, and you saw today one of the budget amendments on the consent agenda was canteen expenses, which those are, you know, vending machines for the inmates. They can buy, you know, small items, and we get a small commission on that. So that was a good budget amendment there. That's no tax money going out, but and of course the increased use on the facilities, that those things come up from time to time. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Is the inspection monies in there for the assisted living facility yet?
No, they have not pulled their permit. We're anticipating it, you know, just any day now, but they have not pulled the permit yet. So,
Hospital as well?
yeah, hospital will be a few months out. They just awarded, Baptist awarded the architectural and engineering contract last week to a firm out of Charlotte. So that means they're going to begin the actual drawings and things like that right now. So we would anticipate, you know, at least 90 to 120 days before it would be ready to pull any permits on that project. So.
Ready for a county commissioner's comment? Commissioner Osbourne?
I have no comment.
Commissioner Bobby Owen?
I just want to comment on the Veterans Park, on those removal of the 2 trees. For over 8 months, we've been waiting for those trees to be removed, and each month, we're assured they'll be done that month, and they're still there.
Yeah, they're checking the root mass, and as soon as it's at the minimum level it needs to be, they're going to be removed. So we don't want to damage the trees.
I mean, it comes down to a point, does the county remove them, or is the tree service, or whoever planted them, are they going to remove them?
Our forester's going to remove
Forestry
them for us,
service.
yeah. I mean, technically, the county could remove them. I mean, the trees were a gift. They are nice trees. We don't want to damage them if we don't have to. And if there's not an emergency, we're not blocking construction or anything right now. So we'd like to get the root ball, I guess you call it, to sufficient size to where they can be safely moved. They're checking that periodically, so.
That's all.
Mr. John Irwin?
Would like to compliment my two fellow commissioners for the attendance of the presentation by the State Fire Marshal on the 7th of February. Well attended. We had 4 to 5 volunteer fire departments there in an effort to show how we could reduce the fire rating in our fire districts and hopefully save the homeowners some money. It was very informative, and it will be a challenge in Alleghany County. That's the bottom line, and simply with our topography and the things that we have to go through. One of the biggest challenges that we have in Alleghany County, and I'd like to call it to the attention of our citizenry, is water points. Whenever they roll up on a fire, they can quickly empty a truck. But where do they go to refill the truck? If you've got a pond and you would allow the local volunteer fire departments access so that they could fill in the event of a fire, please get in contact with them. Of course, you've got to be able to get that heavy pumper in there. The other thing is rumor. Rumor control, as we used to refer to it in the Marine Corps, always runs rampant. And after our commissioner retreats, somebody threw some gasoline on the fire. The county commissioners, whenever we had our our commissioner retreat, we were going over a lot of areas, and we have published the minutes so that you would have some idea of what was discussed and the actions and the thoughts of the various commissioners. I have heard everything except who killed Cock Robin so far. I would suggest that if you are interested in the business of Alleghany County, you attend our meetings, or at least watch them on TV if they're published, so that you can get the straight and true facts. Not take something halfway through a comment or a statement and then run with it and start the rapid rumor file. In that regards, we will shortly in April begin working on the county budget, and it is going to be a challenge, as it is every year. We have the most open process that has ever taken place in Alleghany County. Before, whenever you saw a county commissioner meeting or you attended a county commissioner meeting, you got the distinct impression that everything was discussed, decided on, and all you had to do was have a formality of a public vote. And it was, bam, you were in, you were out. We discuss in the open, and we take very few matters behind those closed doors so that the public will know where we are coming from and the reasoning behind what we do. And this is going to be very important in this budget sessions because I would guesstimate that 85% of the budget we have absolutely no control on. It is mandated either by the state or federal government. You need to educate yourself on this before you suddenly come out with your comments and let your bulldog mouth overload your puppy dog fanny. In that regards, and closing on a happy comment, tomorrow night we will have an agricultural dinner where we will recognize the true economic force in this county, and that is our farmers. You have to have a ticket. If you don't have a ticket, hopefully it will be broadcast or certainly recorded so that you can see it and we can recognize the farmers that we have in this county and where our economy comes from. So, my fellow citizens, please watch it and thank those that get out every day, no matter what the weather, and work and toil to put food on the table. As many of us can attest to, it's good, and we partake of it readily. Other than that, Mr. Chairman, I wish everyone Godspeed.
Thank you, John. My only comments is I wish Mark Evans a good, restful time away from us, and look forward to seeing him back.
I've got one more item.
Sure.
About this time last year, we were talking about a drainage retention project over between the high school and the community college on the bank there. We envisioned, while we had some grant money to pay for part of it, envisioning reworking the path from the high school down to the community college and making it ADA compliant. So we'd have to expand it, kind of make it go back and forth. It's been a challenge to get that project going. We finally got a actual bid in writing on the project just last week. We do intend to hopefully complete this project this summer. I know the grants for the stormwater part of it expire at the end of June, I think, something like that. So we hope to get going with that. Not quite ready to bring it back to this board yet. Hopefully, one of the 2 meetings in March will come back before the board. We'll have to put a little bit of money into it, but it's a very worthwhile project. But I just want citizens to know that is still, it has been percolating in the background all this time. But hopefully we'll have that on an agenda in March to finalize that, hopefully.
Very good, thanks, Mike. Hearing no other, do I have a motion to adjourn?
You have no comments, Mr. Chairman?
No, sir. Other than wishing Mark well.
I'll make a motion and we adjourn, sir.
Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
4-0.